Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to share with you my presentation entitled Bridging Literature and Education, Some Practices in a Prose Course. Some believe that specifying learning materials in a certain field without having different materials from other fields is needed in order to master the knowledge of that field well. For example, students who study education should focus only on education subject. On the contrary, this presentation aims to underline the importance of learning literature in an education study program by giving some real practices. So, using literature as learning for students who learn English as a foreign language is challenging, yes, due to some factors. Some of them are the level of language difficulty, limited time of discussion, and unfamiliar vocabulary, as stated by Duncan and Parent 2018. But it doesn't mean that having literary works as sources of learning language cannot be applied. The combination of both the choice of texts and the choice of activities for those texts can be a solution for facing those challenges. Besides, teachers and students can gain many benefits on having literature as learning materials. Literary works provide not only authentic materials and language enrichment, but also personal growth and cultural understanding. For example, authentic materials help students increase their motivation and bring reality to the classroom. From students' perspective, authentic materials increase their vocabulary and general English ability. The benefit of authenticity of literary works is also described by Magnum by comparing literary works to textbooks. He said, literature is seen to have more value, to be more prestigious than reading textbooks, which tend to be artificial, often using caretaker English. About personal growth here, Ward discusses the benefit of reading literary works such as stories, poems, and drama help readers grow their creativity and use their imagination. In addition, Liao also underlines the benefits on students' confidence and the choice of stories, which can also develop students' personal growth. Goodwin, 2017, narrates a history of personal growth theme in UK, which also includes teaching literature remains central to English teachers. Furthermore, Dewey bolds the use of literature for a reflexive individual learning process, which also develops children or young people's aesthetic lives. Not only personal growth, reading literary works also helps learners understand other cultures and lead to appreciate different perspectives. Gorge calls it greater tolerance to be more open. Adam et al. Shows that children literature for diversity and cross-cultural understanding for Australian. Torres 2018 agrees that children literature also helps reader gain cross-cultural understanding. Yulita 2019 also writes the emerge of new perspectives on intercultural language after reading literature. Considering many benefits from reading literary works, the use of literature in English language education study program needs to be continued. As Duncan and Parent 2018 also state that the choice of literature and the chosen activities play important roles. This presentation is an attempt to show real practices that have been done in a prose in English language teaching course. It provides some choices of literary works and also some practices. So we move to the method. Bloomer et al. 2017 applied the comprehensive approach to know the benefits of learning literature in secondary students' view. This approach is an area where 4 approaches combine. The first is language approach, which includes grammar, syntax, vocabulary, idioms, language skill development, and variety. Context approach, as a second, relates to biographical information, historical, cultural, social context, and literary history. The third is the text approach that consists of literary terminology, genre, setting, story, plot, theme, characters. And finally, reader approach here puts the readers on the center that deals with reading experience, literary taste, and personal development or personal growth. This figure can describe the comprehensive approach. While Bloomer et al. 2017 found comprehensive approach as an overlapping part of four approaches, so this study or this presentation only focuses on a reader approach where students' reading experience, literary taste, and personal development are discussed. Among those three elements of reader approach, personal development in form of reflection will be the central discussion. This reader approach has similar concept to the personal model growth that is stated by Ida 2013. The model relates reading experience to students' personal development in form of sharing their feelings and ideas. Okay, so the discussion here, we have three parts. The first is the choice of text, the second is the choice of activities, and the third is personal growth. So choice of text, it is important when we choose an easy literary work first. So Miss Alphabet is a children's story, and as stated before, that children's literature is also helpful for all. So Miss Awful, the setting is cool and it's so good. It's easy to be read, and it's from England. It's a short story that is written by Arthur Kavanagh. And then the second one, so we will not only learn about short story, but we also have Toto-chan as a novel. So this The Little Girl at the Window is written by Tatsuko Kuroyanagi, and we try to have cross-cultural understanding. We try to learn Japanese culture, and we will not forget our own culture. So this is The Jungle School, which is written by Butet Manurul, and this is Indonesian biography. So real title is Sekolah Rima, that is written in Bahasa, but then it was translated into English, and we discussed the English version. Okay, so Miss Apple is quite an interesting story because we have two kinds of teachers here. The first one is Miss Wilson. So she is so cheerful, she's young, and she lays down on the floor too. She said we'd all have a rest like that when the children are tired, and then she lays down on the floor too with them. And we have a second kind of teacher. Her name is Miss Orville, and students or parents usually calls her Miss Awful. And then she said, "Attention, please, no muttering in the back." She cleared her voice and resumed. "Prior to my retirement, I taught boys and girls for 46 years," she warned, like that. So two different kinds of teachers, and we have Roger here. So the first, he could not spell any letter, any word, but then after experiencing Miss Orville's teaching method, Roger could spell some words. So as you can read, Roger stood back, hands at his side, and lifted his head erectly. Flower, he spelled, Flower. He squared his shoulders and looked at Miss Orville's framing eyes. Castle, Roger spelled, Castle. So we have two kinds of teacher, but then Roger could spell the words because of Miss Awful or Miss Orville. Miss Awful's statement here, we really want to share with you all. Like, to attend school is a privilege you must not mock. Can you guess how many thousands of children in the world are denied the gift of schooling? Her lips quivered. It is a priceless gift. You cannot permit yourself to squander a moment of it. She rose from her desk and looked down at the rows of boys and girls. It isn't enough any longer to accept a gift and make no return for it, not with the word in the shape it's in, she said, spectacles trembling over her bony nose. The world isn't a playbook, she said. If I have been severe with you this past week, it was for your benefit. The world's need good citizens. Yeah. So here we we have chosen a text, a literary work, and then we also consider the choice of activities. So we had reflection, but the reflection is not just a free form. There were some guided questions, and there are two main topics here. The first is good teacher concepts and educational values. So about good teacher concepts here, a student shared that I like teacher who can make learning feel exciting and never put pressure on students. Teacher who can understand students' struggle in learning. So what is it? He or she likes Miss Wilson as the good teacher. And then the second one, the second the second group is about combination between Miss Wilson and Miss Orville. I like the type of teacher who is not too strict, but still follows the rules. Everything should be scheduled so that students will know that they will learn without waiting for a teacher to explain what they should do in its meeting. This also will help students be prepared for before the class started. I like a humorous and kind-hearted teacher. And then the third one, they also, had their own concept. So I love having a cheerful teacher, a teacher who brings happiness and good vibe for the students. He or she has enough time or gives opportunity for students to ask, consult, and listen to students' difficulties. So from here, students struggle, first group students' difficulties here. So they have formed good teacher concept after they read Miss Awful here. So that's the connection, right? Reading literature is not only about literary terms, but it can be connected with education also. And what about good teacher during pandemic? A great teacher is the one who explains the material and knows the student well. It means that the teacher will not give a lot of assignments only. So yeah, this is cool because not only giving the assignments, but also explains and knows his or her students well. So the second one is about educational values. So Miss Awful's short story changes students' perspective of a killer teacher. Here, so every teacher has a good intention. This is sharing or result of reflection of a student. I have to keep in mind that all of teachers, whether they seem annoying or really kind, they have good intention for their students. So it's about personal growth, how this literary work can open their mind that actually, teachers have good intention for their students. And then it is about discipline. A good teacher must keep teaching students to be a good citizen and the real human. Letting them doing what they want is actually not good at all. He or she said like that, one of our students. It will make them feel free and the intention to learn exists. So this one, discipline is also needed. They also learn about it, and from this literary work, education is about creating or helping a person to be a good citizen. And then students' obligation is to study. Yes, just like what Mrs. Orwell stated to the whole class, students cannot squander a moment of priceless gift to study in a school. There are thousands of children who deny the gift of schooling, especially in this, pandemic. Yeah, there are a lot of students who could not go to school, who could not study because of the economic condition and other, what is that, factors. So we should be grateful for having the chance, and we shouldn't mock it. And education starts from family. Yes, discipline starts from home because how they act in school represent who they are at home. And I think what is that? Education from family, like in a family, yeah, in this pandemic situation is real because they learned together with their parents. Okay, so personal growth here, students or awareness. So after reading literary work here, they can reflect to themselves and they have different, different findings, and what is it? It has created a new personality. Like they have their own perspective to share their idea, and what is it? They can become a better person. And move to Toto-chan, the little girl at the window. The children consider their trees their own private property. So I took, a quote from this, and then so if you wanted to climb someone else's tree, you had to ask their permission very politely, saying, "Excuse me, may I come in?" Kuranagi, page 29. So it's not only about to be smart, but how to, how to do it, how to have good attitude to others. And about the choice of activities, so I'll give them, I gave them freedom to choose some parts that students like, because I think a student will have different interests if we compare him or compare her to other students. So choose the one that you really like, choose the part that you really like, and then we shared through our Zoom, through our meeting, through Zoom or WhatsApp group. And then we also have the process for analyzing that part. So we try to connect education, experience, and also literature. So this is the way the choice of activities like here can build connection, can bridge between two topics, which are education and literature. And they were not alone. That what is said, personal feedback and revision, what is said, were done too. So no change of content, but what is said, how to make it better, like the draft. And here, this is the sharing from Vida. So it's based on Vida's experiences reduction. Teachers who know how to give the proper appreciation for students will increase students' motivation in learning. Therefore, students will wait for their class without missing a day. So I think as a future teacher, Miss Vida will also, try to build her teacher identity also. So this is an example of Indonesian biography, the Jungle School or Sekolah Rimba, and we learned self-regulated learning concept. I think this is so good because we, we learn how to evaluate ourselves, how to plan our study, how to organize, and then how to, how to have motivation, strong motivation, and then how to select environments. So just avoid noisy place to complete our assignment, for example, to do Zoom meeting, and optimize learning. So we have metacognitive, motivation, and also behavior for self-regulated learning here. And we could find those three aspects of self-regulated learning in this biography. And for example, metacognitive here, jungle children know their goals and try to achieve them. So some parts in this novel, like page 89, how much longer before I can read? So they know their goal, that they really want to read. And then page 118, and they want to know, they need to coordinate time with the outside world. And then what he said, the teacher doesn't provide what he said, the material, but students, what he said, younger children try to look for the calendars from the market, right? Like that. So wow, so they have what is a strong motivation too. They constantly ask questions, page 95, and then they ask a lot of questions, trying this and this word and that. Yeah, they know their goal. They try their best to achieve that, and they try to find the ways to achieve the goal. And for behavior here, they know what is it. They know the environment they created, like come to the jungle. They ask Butet to come to the jungle and then here instead of their camp. So they could come and go. They want to be in the same study group, not what is it, not in the, they do not want to be in the same study group. So giving freedom is also good for our students because what is it, they have their own preference also. Like Gentar here wants to study behind the house in the hut, while Miti sits on the what is the bicycle, page 91. So they have their own favorite sport for study too. So here, when we know that we have to study at home like this, so I think setting the environment is also needed. Yes, and the last is strong motivation. They rarely respond yes when I ask them if they are tired of learning. So it means that, are you tired? They will not say, yes, no. Like they even request more work and compete among themselves. If we compare to our, what is it, today's students' attitude, I think we should reflect on ourselves, like, and then this one, compete among themselves to finish it without ever trying to copy their friends' work. So it's not about what is it, score. No, the most important one is understanding. Yes, often they learn from those who have already acquired the skill and happy to oblige. They also focus on comprehension rather than grades. This one, page 127. I think from this literary work, from this biography, Indonesian biography, we can learn a lot from jungle children when they have strong motivation, when they have what is it, behavioral aspect, and also they have metacognitive also. And I just want to share, a great learning process cannot only have a great teacher. Yes, whenever a class only has a great teacher, but the students do not want to be the great one, so it will fail. It also requires a great learner too. I underline a great learner because whenever in a one class, but there is student who what is it strives for excellence. I think what is it, a teacher can be so happy because of that. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.